Have you ever heard of seller impersonation fraud in real estate? It's a growing concern in 2023. Imagine this. A property appears on the market, the owner seemingly eager to sell, but there's a twist. The person purporting to be the owner is, in fact, a fraudster. They've found a vacant or non-owner occupied property, and using public records, business email compromise, and sheer persistence, they're impersonating the real owner. This is seller impersonation fraud, and it's a rapidly escalating problem in the real estate industry. Why? Because it's a scheme that's shockingly easy to execute. All it takes is a little research, a convincing story, and a dash of audacious confidence. Fraudsters are becoming increasingly sophisticated, capitalizing on the wealth of information available online to find potential properties and craft compelling narratives. They trick realtors, title companies, and even the buyers into believing they're the real deal. All this happens while the actual owner remains blissfully unaware that their property is being sold right under their noses. The severity of this issue cannot be overstated. Seller impersonation fraud isn't just a minor inconvenience. It can lead to significant financial losses, legal complications, and a whole lot of stress for all parties involved. As we move further into the digital age, this type of fraud is only expected to grow, making it a rising trend that we cannot afford to ignore. But here's the good news. With knowledge comes power. By understanding how seller impersonation fraud works, we can better equip ourselves to recognize the signs and stop these fraudsters in their tracks. So, whether you're a seasoned real estate agent, a first-time buyer, or a vigilant homeowner, it's crucial to understand how to prevent this type of fraud. After all, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. That's why in this video we're going to take a deep dive into the world of seller impersonation fraud. We'll explore how it works, why it's such a problem, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself and your clients from falling victim to this insidious scheme. If you're a real estate agent, or even just an informed buyer or seller, it's crucial to understand how to prevent this type of fraud. Prevention starts with knowing who you're dealing with. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's the foundation of a successful defense against seller impersonation fraud. Knowing your client, truly knowing who they are, is the first step towards ensuring the legitimacy of any real estate transaction. When we talk about knowing your client, what do we mean? Well, it's more than just a name and a handshake. It's about verifying their identity in a comprehensive way. This might sound like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. There are simple yet effective methods that you can use. Let's start with the most basic one: checking government-issued IDs. This could be a passport, a driver's license, social security card, or any other form of identification that is recognized by the government. It's a simple, yet effective method to ensure that the person you're dealing with is who they claim to be. But don't stop there. Cross-checking this information with public records can offer another layer of confirmation. Public records are a treasure trove of information. They can provide details on property ownership, previous transactions, and even legal disputes. These records can help you determine if the person claiming to be the property owner is indeed the rightful owner. And while you're at it, don't forget to verify the property details as well. Remember, fraudsters are crafty, and they might try to sell a property that doesn't exist or is not for sale. Now, this next tip might sound old-fashioned, but it's still relevant today. Get to know your client personally. Establish a relationship with them. This doesn't mean becoming best friends, but having a sense of who they are can go a long way in spotting inconsistencies or red flags. A face-to-face meeting, a phone call, or even a video chat can provide valuable insights that can't be gleaned from documents alone. In conclusion, verifying your client's identity is a simple, yet crucial step towards preventing seller impersonation fraud. It's about being vigilant, being thorough, and most importantly, being aware. Because when it comes to stopping fraud, knowledge is power. Scene script. Secure communication isn't just for spies, it's a must in real estate too. In the digital age, communication has become a vital part of our daily routine. However, this convenience comes with its share of vulnerabilities. Unsecured communication channels are like open highways for cybercriminals, allowing them to intercept and manipulate information. This becomes especially dangerous in the real estate sector, where a single piece of misinformation can lead to a fraudulent sale or purchase. Let's imagine a scenario. You're working with a client, and you've shared important documents and sensitive information over email. Little did you know, a fraudster has been following your trail, intercepting your emails, and is now ready to strike. They pose as your client, or perhaps even as you, to trick the other party into believing a property is for sale. This is a classic example of how unsecured communication can lead to seller impersonation fraud. So, how do we combat this? The answer lies in secure communication channels. These are platforms that use encryption to scramble your messages, making them unreadable to anyone without the correct decryption key. This means that even if a cybercriminal intercepts your communication, they won't be able to understand or manipulate it. Secure communication channels come in many forms. There are secure email providers, messaging apps with end-to-end encryption, and even virtual private networks, or VPNs, that encrypt your entire internet connection. Using these tools, you can ensure your conversations and shared documents remain confidential and secure from prying eyes. But secure communication is not just about the tools you use. It's also about the practices you adopt. Always double-check email addresses to ensure they're from the correct sender. Be wary of unexpected attachments or links and never share sensitive information without verifying the recipient's identity. In the end, secure communication is about creating a safe environment for you and your clients. By protecting your conversations, you're not only preventing fraud but also building trust with your clients. They'll appreciate knowing that their information is safe with you, and that you're taking steps to protect their interests. Remember, when you communicate securely, you're not just protecting yourself, but also your clients. A keen eye for detail can save you from a costly mistake. And in the realm of real estate transactions, this couldn't be truer. One of the most critical steps in preventing seller impersonation fraud is to double-check all documents involved in the transaction. You see, fraudulent documents are the lifeblood of the impersonator's scheme. They are the tools used to convince you, the real estate agent and the potential buyer, that they are the legitimate owner of the property. Without them, their whole plan falls apart. So how can you spot these counterfeit papers? Well, let's start with the basics. Always check the name and address details. Do they match the public records? Are there inconsistencies or spelling errors? These can be red flags. A legitimate document should also have a professional appearance. Look for low-quality logos or unusual formatting. If it doesn't look right, it probably isn't. Next, scrutinize the signatures. Do they seem genuine, or do they look like they've been copied and pasted? If you're not sure, compare them with other documents you have on file. A mismatch could be a sign of forgery. But don't stop there. Consider the content of the documents. Are there unusual terms or conditions that don't make sense? Take the time to read through every line. If something doesn't add up, it might be a sign that something is amiss. And let's not forget about the dates. Check if they are logical and consistent. An outdated document or one that's been backdated could be another sign of fraud. Finally, remember to verify the authenticity of the documents. If something seems off, don't hesitate to contact the issuing authority or use a verification service. So, there you have it. By giving every document the attention it deserves, you can uncover the telltale signs of fraud and stop a potential scam in its tracks. Remember, when it comes to preventing seller impersonation fraud, vigilance is your best defense. Never let your guard down. Every document is a potential source of fraud. You're not alone in this. Team up with trusted professionals. Remember, this isn't a solo mission, it's a team effort. When it comes to preventing seller impersonation fraud, you'll want to surround yourself with a strong team of trusted professionals. This may include lawyers, title companies, and real estate agents with proven track records. Why is this important? Well, these professionals have the expertise and the experience to help verify the legitimacy of the transaction. They've been in the field for years, maybe decades, and they've seen it all. They know the red flags to look out for, and they have the tools and resources to dig deeper when something doesn't seem right. Let's take lawyers, for instance. A seasoned real estate attorney can conduct a thorough due diligence check on the seller and the property. They can review contracts, trace the property's ownership history, and ensure that the seller is indeed the legal owner of the property. They can spot discrepancies that might go unnoticed to the untrained eye. Then there are title companies. These are the unsung heroes in real estate transactions. They play a crucial role in verifying the seller's identity and ensuring that the title to the property is clean, free of liens or encumbrances. They can also provide title insurance, which can protect you from financial loss in case of a title dispute. And of course, there's you, the real estate agent. You're the first line of defense. Your knowledge of the market, your intuition, your ability to build relationships and trust with your clients, these are all invaluable assets in the fight against seller impersonation fraud. In conclusion, don't try to do it all on your own. Collaborate with trusted professionals. Build a team that's got your back, A team that's as committed as you are to ensuring that every transaction is legitimate and above board. Because at the end of the day, the fight against seller impersonation fraud is a team effort. A strong team of trusted professionals is your best defense against seller impersonation fraud. Scene script: knowledge is power, and it's a power worth sharing. In the battle against seller impersonation fraud, one of the most potent weapons at your disposal is education, not just your own knowledge, but also the understanding you impart to your clients. Your clients' awareness about this fraudulent scheme can be the difference between a smooth transaction and a disastrous one. Seller impersonation fraud is a complex, evolving threat. It's not enough to simply tell your clients to be wary. They need to understand the why and the how. They need to know why they should be careful and how they can protect themselves. This begins with a simple conversation about the nature of the threat. Explain to your clients that seller impersonation fraud is a real and growing problem. Share with them how fraudsters use public records, business email compromise, and persistence to impersonate property owners and sell properties under false pretenses. Let them know that this type of fraud can happen to anyone and that no one is immune. Once they understand the threat, provide them with concrete steps they can take to protect themselves. Encourage them to double-check all documents and to communicate through secure channels. Impress upon them the importance of working with trusted professionals, such as the experienced team at Doc Signers International Closing Services. But don't just tell them once and assume they've got it. Reinforce these messages regularly, through emails, newsletters, social media posts, and face-to-face meetings. Make sure they know that you're there to support them, to guide them, and to help them navigate the potential pitfalls of real estate transactions. Remember, your clients rely on your expertise and your guidance. They trust you to look out for their best interests. By educating them about seller impersonation fraud, you're not just helping to protect them, you're also strengthening that trust, building a stronger relationship with them, and contributing to the integrity of the real estate industry as a whole. When your clients are informed, they're less likely to fall victim to fraud. Seller impersonation fraud is a real and growing threat, but you have the power to stop it. As we've journeyed through this video together, we've unpacked the insidious nature of seller impersonation fraud, a menace that's quickly gaining ground in the real estate sector. It's a dark underbelly of real estate, where fraudsters armed with public records, compromised emails, and a dash of audacity seek to hoodwink realtors, title companies, and buyers, all in the name of making a quick buck. But remember, knowledge is power, and understanding this threat is the first step towards safeguarding against it. We've outlined a 5-step strategy to help you navigate these murky waters. Step 1. Know your client. It's more than just a transaction. Build a relationship, understand their needs, and verify their identity. Step 2. Secure your communication channels. Emails can be compromised, so ensure you're using secure platforms to communicate sensitive information. Step 3. Double-check all documents. If something seems off, it probably is. Scrutinize documents carefully and look for discrepancies. Step 4. Collaborate with trusted professionals. Partner with organizations like Doc Signers International Closing Services to ensure closing documents are handled and authenticated properly. And finally, Step 5. Educate your clients. An informed client is a secure client. Share your knowledge and equip them to spot potential fraud. These steps aren't just guidelines, they're tools in your arsenal to fight back against seller impersonation fraud.